Welcome back. Today we are making keto tortilla chips. I'm Dr. Joanette, your longevity expert and the creator of the Longevity Switch. If you've been thinking about possibly ditching some of your highly processed, refined snack foods for healthier foods, you actually don't have to give up some of your favorite foods like tortilla chips with guacamole or salsa. You can ditch the store-bought tortilla chips and make your own homemade, healthy, delicious tortilla chips with only 2 main ingredients and some seasoning, and you have healthy, delicious, keto, low-carb tortilla chips. So let's get cooking. The 2 main ingredients in your keto tortilla chips are a mozzarella cheese, and you want to use mozzarella cheese rather than one of the other cheeses because mozzarella cheese has about 30 to 50% less fat than the other cheeses. And when you use the other cheeses, your tortilla chips may come out greasy. And the other main ingredient is almond flour. To that, you are going to add about a teaspoon total of whatever spices you want. They can be garlic, onion, chili powder, cumin, paprika, cayenne pepper, whatever you want. Get creative. And I'm adding to mine some onion powder and cumin. These are kind of my favorite seasonings. Some roasted garlic powder, that is, not the actual roasted garlic. And here's my secret ingredient. It is sweet corn extract. This is what gives your tortilla chips that authentic corn flavor without actually having any corn flour in it or any carbs. It keeps your carbs low by adding the sweet corn extract. I'm putting in about a little over a half a teaspoon into the flour. And then we're gonna mix that all into, I'm gonna mix this up. Oh, you know the other thing you wanna add is you wanna add some salt. Let me get some salt here. And you can add the salt to your chips. I'm putting in probably about a half a teaspoon. And then if you want more salt on the outside, you like that salty flavor on your tongue when you bite that chip, you can then sprinkle a little salt on the outside of them as well before you put them in the oven. I'm gonna add my cheese. Actually, it's a little firmed up a little bit more than I want. Yeah, I'm gonna melt it just a tiny bit more here. I just melt it in the microwave 30 seconds at a time until it's all melted and nice and soft. Well, you know what? I think it might actually work. We'll see. You don't want your cheese to be too melted and too hot. You want it to be cooled somewhat, but you want to be able to also incorporate it into your almond flour, or rather your almond flour into it, however you want to think of it. While I'm mixing that, I am also going to sprinkle, before I forget anymore, I forgot the coloring. This is my other secret ingredient to make them look like authentic tortilla chips. It's turmeric. Mix that in really good to give that nice yellow color. Commercially, a lot of commercial products, including most of your tortilla chips, will have chemical coloring added to them. Mother Nature gives us great colors in the form of plants. For example, yellow for turmeric. Turmeric is great for yellow. For orange, things like paprika. For red, beets or tomatoes. For pink dragon fruit makes a great pink color. Blue spirulina is another great color. Actually, here's something interesting. Add a little baking soda to cabbage with a little liquid, and it gives you a blue color instead of that purple cabbage color, which is kind of fascinating. I like to use blue spirulina. We're just getting this all mixed in and all mixed together here. You kind of want to form a dough is what you want to do. If you like to play with your food, this is a really good recipe. This is a great recipe for the grandkids or for your kids because you can let them really work that dough and kind of squish that dough. Of course, you could keep it all to yourself if you really like to do that type of thing, which I kind of do. But if my grandkids were here, I'd share. So we're getting that all mixed in. You want that mixed in so you've got a nice, evenly mixed in dough. If you scroll down to the links below, you will find a link for where you can purchase some natural food colorings to use in your cooking and your baking that are all plant-based and don't have the chemicals like the red 7 or whatever that chemical is in them. This is feeling good. Kind of want to feel like Play-Doh. It reminds me of Play-Doh a little bit when it's all mixed in together. And doesn't that look like corn tortilla chip flour? Next, what you're going to do is we're going to roll it out between a couple of pieces of parchment paper. I kind of start by just pressing it down, smoothing it out a little bit. And you want to roll it out fairly thin, between probably a 1/6 and an 1/8 of an inch thick. Like the 1/8 of an inch is a little on the thin side, unless you don't mind them getting a little browner, because the thinner they are, the crispier they're going to be actually. So if you like them real crispy, roll them out to that 1/8 of an inch. Otherwise, around a 1/6 of an inch. If this information was helpful so far and informative, thank you for subscribing and clicking that like button. This really helps me continue to bring you healthy recipes that will help you activate your longevity switch. By the way, what do you like to use for your favorite natural food coloring when you're cooking and baking? Drop me a note in the comments below, as I'm always on the hunt for great ideas. And let's flip that over and see if we can kind of put back. It starts coming apart a little bit sometimes. And I like to try to also kind of square it off as much as possible. So I will sometimes kind of cut off some of the extra in a couple of places and put it other places to get a kind of squared off, because you're going to be using your pizza cutter to cut it into triangles. The other thing, when you cut the edges like that, you can see how thick, like this is quite thick over here, probably at least 1/4 of an inch thick. And whereas this edge on the other side is about right, probably about a 1/6 to an 1/8 of an inch thick. All right, I think that looks pretty good. And let's go ahead and cut it into some triangles. Just taking off a few of the edges to give us a nice little bit of a straighter edge for cutting the triangles here. You want to square it off a little bit. You can re-roll those extra scraps that you take off. Make a couple more chips, or just bake up those extra scraps. So it depends how big you want to make your triangles as to how wide you make these cuts. I think that looks pretty good. And now I go ahead and just sprinkle a little salt on just one side of them. Don't want to get too much salt. If you're on a no salt diet, these are great chips because you can make them salt free. So what is it in turmeric that it makes it a superfood. Turmeric is a superfood, and what that means is it's super good for you, super delicious, super healthy. But really what it means is that it has anti-inflammatory properties, antioxidant properties, and properties that support your cells' powerhouses, your mitochondria. There was a fascinating study that was published recently in the journal Nutrition, looking at all of the benefits of turmeric. And what they showed was that turmeric is good for helping cognitive function. It's good for helping with your memory. It's great for anti-inflammation, a great anti-inflammatory. And part of that reason that is because it's high in antioxidants. A key when you're thinking about food or looking for food that's high in antioxidants is check the color. The brighter the color, especially those dark colors, blue and purple, and that vibrant color of turmeric, are all keys that it is a great antioxidant and anti-inflammatory. Antioxidants help your body heal when it gets attacked by free radicals. Free radicals are just formed as part of the metabolic processes that happen as we digest our food and we eat our food, and they're very damaging to our cells. Think of it as what happens when oxygen comes in contact with metal. It creates rust. Well, when free radicals attack our cells, it's kind of like causing them to rust. Not exactly, but that's a good way to think about it. And anti-foods that are high in antioxidants are a super way for us to help protect our cells and fight the damage that's caused by oxidative stress and those free radicals, both of which contribute to aging. Let's pop this into the oven. I preheated the oven for 350 degrees, and we're going to bake them for I'm going to check them at about 8 minutes and see how they're coming along, but we'll be baking them for probably about a total of 10 minutes. I baked these tortilla chips about 10 minutes. You can see a few of them got a little on the brown side, but they'll be nice and crunchy. You want to make sure that they cool completely on your baking sheet. You could transfer them to a cooling rack. I just let them cool completely on the baking sheet, and they are ready to eat and enjoy. If you don't eat them all in one sitting, which is not that hard to do, by the way, but if you want to save some for later, put them in an airtight container, and you can keep them at room temperature for about 2 to 3 days. Otherwise, you can put them in the fridge as well. And trust me, they're so delicious. They're not going to last that 2 to 3 days. So let's give it a try. I've got some black bean salsa and some homemade guacamole. A little guacamole and a little salsa. It's going to be an interesting bite, a big bite. I've been making and eating these tortilla chips for a while and haven't had a store-purchased Doritos or tortilla chip in a while. To me, these taste better than I remember the store tortilla chips tasting. They taste fresh, there's no chemicals in them, and I know that I'm doing my body a favor by making and enjoying delicious, whole food, natural, keto tortilla chips. Go to my website and you'll be able to find the whole recipe. It's also in the link below. Please leave me a comment when you make these delicious tortilla chips. Let me know how they came out and what you think about them. I love all your comments. I try to respond to all of them. And I love the great comments that and even questions that you have for me. When you go to my website, growwithdrjoanette.com, you'll also be able to find so many more low-carb, keto-friendly recipes that you can make and enjoy, and skip shopping the center of the grocery store. Stick to the periphery. you will be able to activate your longevity switch, and your body will thrive and thank you by giving you more energy, helping you think better, helping you feel better, and helping you have less digestive GI discomfort, if that's something you've been experiencing. And we'll see you next time on the Dr. Joanette channel. Thank you for joining me, clicking that like button, subscribing, and sharing these videos.